and welcome to Math Online Academy. Today we want to today we want to learn inverse variation. In our last lesson we talked about direct variation, and we said that in direct variation it means where we have two things, as one is increasing, the other one is also increasing. So in direct variation, if we have two things, let's call it A and B. If A increases, this means increasing. If A increases, then B will also increase. Now, if A decreases, that is going down, B will also go down or decrease. This is for direct variation. This for direct variation. If A increases, B will also increase, and if A decreases or reduces, B will also reduce. And we say that in direct variation, that we state it mathematically as this. If we use X and Y to represent the variables are the things that are changing in variation, maybe A and B, C and D, X and Y. So if you use X and Y to represent the variables, we say that X varies directly as Y. This is how to state direct variation. X varies directly as Y. Now, for instance, an example, this is just a quick review or revision on direct variation. If we have that X varies directly as Y, X varies directly as Y, and we are told that X is equal to 1 when Y is equal to 2. That is, if X is equal to 1, Y is equal to 2, then we may be asked to find Y when X is equal to 2. Now they will ask us, if X equal to 2, what is Y? Here, X is equal to 1 and Y is equal to 2. Now, X has changed to 2. What will be the value? This is question mark. What will be the value of Y? Now, to solve this, they have said that this is a direct variation, that X varies directly as Y. In direct variation, they say that it varies directly as Y. Now, to solve this, you say that X varies directly as Y. This is the first thing you state. You must state these things in order. Now, if you want to clear this This is called sign of proportionality or sign of variation. You have to clear it for you to work or use it and do any calculation. You have to change it to equal sign. For you to change this thing to equal sign, you will introduce what we call a constant. So we have x is equal to, you now remove this, is equal to the constant. You can call your constant anything. Most of the times we call it k. Y. Now this, with this k now, you have removed this constant with this proportionality sign or variation sign. So x is now equal to ky. When you state like this, you must tell them the meaning of your k, because you can use anything to represent your constant. So you will say where k is equal to constant, where k is equal to constant. Now that you have this, you will now make k the subject of the formula. You make k the subject of formula. You will now say that if you want to make k the subject of the formula, that is to make k to stand alone. To make k to stand alone, you take this one that is staying with it to the other side. That means you are dividing x by y. So you say k is equal to x over y. K is equal to x over y. Now, it means that, what this means is that if you have different x and different y, that is, you have 2x and 2y, then you can say that x1 over x2 is equal to x1 over y, x1 over y1 is equal to x2 over y2. Now, we go to the equation given to us. The first x given to us, we put it here. The first y given to us, we put it here. Then the second x given to us, we put it here. And then the y we are looking for, that will be this one. Then we solve. Now, in the example, the first x given to us is 1. X is equal to 1. This is the first x. Then the first y is y equal to 2. Then second x is equal to 2. And y, we don't know it. So we call this one x1. We call this one y1. Then we call this one x2. And we call this one y2. So we put it in that equation. So we now have that x1 is 1 over y is 2, then is equal to x2 is 2 over y2 is what? We are looking for y2. Now we do cross multiplication. We take this one to this one and take this one to this one. So it becomes that 1 times y2 is equal to 2 times 2. And then we say that y2 now is equal to 4. So y2 is equal to 4. So this is the answer. So this is the revision on direct variation. Now let's look at the indirect variation. In indirect variation, if you have a and b as the variables, if a is increasing, b will be decreasing, or a is increasing, b will be reducing. So if you have a and a is increasing, then b will be reducing. If a is increasing, b will be reducing. Or if a is reducing, b will be increasing. So they have opposite effects. If the other one is going this side, the second one will be going the other side. Call it indirect or inverse variation. Indirect or inverse. Now, in inverse variation, we state it mathematically this way. If we have x and y as the variables, as the things that are changing, we say that x varies inversely as y. If we want to state it mathematically, we say that x varies inversely as y. This is how to show that it is inverse. You say 1 over the second variable. You still put the sign of proportionality. Remember that indirect variation, we don't have 1 over. Indirect, we just say x varies directly as y. But in inverse variation, it is, we put 1 over then the y. X varies inversely as y, or x varies indirectly as y. So this is how to state indirect or inverse variation. Now that you have this, we have to clear the sign of proportionality to use this and solve anything. To use it, or for it to become mathematically useful, we have to clear this sign of proportionality. That means we have to convert this to equal sign. Now, for us to convert it to equal sign, we again introduce a constant. So we now say x is equal to, we put k to represent our constant. X is equal to k over y. X is equal to k over y. So this place we have 1, it is actually 1 times k. So we just use 1 to replace this one, use k to replace this one, and then do it over y. Then we clear the sign of proportionality. We convert this sign of proportionality to equal sign by making this one on top to become k. Then we write where k is equal to constant. Where k is equal to constant. This thing is actually, we can actually say it x is equal to, if we want to clear it normally, k times 1 over y. So anything standing on its own is over 1. So this is equal to k over 1 times 1 over y. So this, the one on top times each other, the one down times each other. K times 1 will give you k. So it becomes k. And then 1 times 1 will give you y. So it becomes y. So that's why I use k over y. Would have done this multiplication, but I just feel it's not necessary, so I did it for you. But that is how it is gotten. That is why it is k over y. So you just use the k and replace this one on top of this place. So you have to state that k is equal to your constant. So for indirect proportion, this is it. X is equal to k over y when you clear the sign of proportionality. Then you have to make k the subject. That means you have to make k to stand alone. From x equal to k over y, anything standing on its own is over 1. So we can still say that x is over 1. So we do cross multiplication. This coming to this and this going to this. So we say that k times 1 is equal to x times y. Now what it means is that k is equal to xy. X times y is equal to xy. So k is equal to xy. In inverse direction, inverse variation, k is equal to xy. Remember that in direct variation, k is equal to x over y. But in inverse variation, k is equal to xy. That is x times y. Now what it means is now that if you have different k, if you have different x and different y, we can now say that x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. So for inverse variation, we can use this formula, or we use the first formula. For inverse variation, we use this formula, that x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2. Now let's solve an example. We have that x varies inversely as y. X varies inversely as y. If x equal to 1 when y equal to 2, find x when y equal to 4. Find x when y equal to 4. Now, if it is theory, we are going to derive the formula. So we are going to start by saying, in theory, we have to start with the formula. We say that x varies inversely as y. This is the first step. If this question is in your theory, then you clear the sign of proportionality. You say that x equal to k over y. Then you now say that where you must state it, where k equal to constant. where k equal to constant. Now you say that you make k the subject. If you make k the subject, you say that k from here, if we do cross multiplication, we take this one to this and take this one to this, then we are going to see that k is equal to x times y, like we got before. K is equal to x, y, if we make k the subject. Now, you now say that x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. Now, the value for x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, you put everything and look for the one that is missing, and then you find it. Now, we go back to the equation given to us. They say that if x equal to 1, x equal to 1 when y equal to 2. So this is our x1 and this is our y1. This is our x2 and this is our y2. So we put everything. X1 is 1 and y1 is 2. X1 we are looking for, x2 we are looking for it, and y2 is 4. So now we say that x1 is 1, 1 times y1 is 2, one times 2 is equal to x2. We are looking for x2, and y2 is 4 times 4. So it means that 1 times 2 is 2. 2 is equal to x2 times 4 is equal to 4x2. If you make x2 to stand alone, then x2 is equal to 2 divided by 4, which is equal to 2 go 1, 2 go 2, which is equal to 1 over 2, which is equal to 0.5. So this is the value of x2. So when y is equal to 4, x is equal to 0.5 or half, 1 over 2. So this is the answer. So this is how to solve inverse variation. If you are asked to find the constant, sometimes you may be asked to find the constants in the inverse variation. Like in this question given to us, we may be asked to find the constants here. If you are asked to find the constants, you state all these things like this until you get to k. Now when you get that k is equal to x times y, this is another method of solving this question. Let me solve it again using this method, method 2. Method 2, from the place we get to k equal to x, y. When you start solving it, assuming that this one is obj, when you get to k is equal to x, y, now you put the value for the first x, that is x1 and y1, you put it here. The x given to us, the first x given to us is 1, and the first y given to us is 2. So you say that k is equal to 1 times 2. So k is equal to 2. This is our k, constant. Now for you to find x when y is equal to 4, you see, when y is equal to 4, now that same equation, we know that k is equal to x, y, and we have gotten our k to be 2. From this side, we now know that our k is equal to 2, so we put the 2 there. So we have that if y is equal to 4, it now means that we use 2 to replace k here is equal to x. We are now looking for the second x when y is equal to 4 is equal to x times y is 4 times 4. So it means that if you make the s the subject of the formula there, it means that x is equal to we take the 4 to the other side, it has times here, so it becomes division there. X is equal to 2 over 4, which is equal to 2 go 1, 2 go 2, so which is equal to 1, which is equal to 1 over 2, which is 0.5. So whichever method we use, we are still going to get the same thing. So we can use the formula direct, and put the value of x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we solve for the one that is missing, or we get the constant first and put the value for the constant, and then put the one that we know and look for the one that is not known, and then we still get the same thing. So this is how to solve indirect or inverse variation. Thank you. Now let me give you your assignment. The first assignment says, if A varies inversely as B and A is 4 when B is 2, find the value of B when A is 6. Now the second thing you are going to do here is that look for the constant. What is the value of the constant in this variation? Then I want you to solve it using the two methods. Use the formula to solve it, and then use the direct method, that is solve and look for get the constant, and then use the constant to find the one that is missing. So use the two methods I've shown you to solve to look for the value of the unknown. That is, which one are we looking for? So use the two methods to look for the value of b. You use the formula in the first one, and the second one you look for the constant, and then use the constant to get the value of b. Thank you.